Welcome to Fifth Quarter, built by Trinity Homes. Shelby Cassesi and Bennett Eschenball will join the party in a few minutes. I am merely Joe Bricato. A dozen stops on tonight's show, and we begin in Marion County. All three county schools won their openers last week. Which one would do the same in Rachel? Fairmont Senior taking on North Marion. Darren Hayes and company coming off a win over Elkins a week ago. We pick things up on the first drive of the game. Bryson Gilbert takes the pitch for the Westsiders. He finds his way into the end zone from 6 yards out, breaks the plane before the fumble, and Fairmont Senior leads 7-0. Later in the first, same score. Abbott loads up. He's got Caleb Walker near midfield. Walker frees himself from a defender and goes 82 yards down the sideline. That doubles the Polar Bear lead as they go up by 14. It's 14-0. West defense facing fourth down early in the second quarter. Darius Stills, a future Mountaineer, gets a tackle on the play and the turnover on downs. But West could not capitalize. Big loss of 12 here, courtesy of North Marion's Dalton Malcolm, and the Huskies would take over. Later in the second, still a 14-0 game. Talon Miller makes a pick at midfield for the Polar Bears. West has good field position with 2:30 to go in the half. 3 plays later, third and short, Abbott goes long. 40-yard touchdown run, 21-0 Fairmont Senior with just under a minute to go in the half. The Huskies need a spark. Tanner King will provide it on the ensuing kickoff. King returns it at the 9, and he goes almost all the way back. He is finally dragged down at the west side 3-yard line. 3 plays later, Kyle Elliott swings it out to Brett Mays for a 1-yard touchdown on the second to last play of the half. 21-7 at the half, but Fairmont Senior would tack on 16 second half points, and they go on to get their second victory of the season, moving to 2-0 as the Polar Bears win by the final of 37-15. We take you to Duval, Rozier Field, and Fairmont. Sam Alvaro and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish taking on Liberty. Third quarter, Liberty up 27-12. Dalton Westfall gets the carry, and he goes 33 yards deep into Notre Dame territory before he's finally dragged down at the 26-yard line. A few plays later, Broderick Lance does the rest. Lance fighting through tacklers. He's into the end zone. 26-yard touchdown, and Liberty extends their lead to 35-12. Mountaineer defense will be stout all night long. Jeremiah Reed with the sack and the loss of 9. That would force Notre Dame to punt. Notre Dame would later get the ball back, but Liberty takes it back as Lance gets an interception here, and he returns it all the way back to the Notre Dame 47-yard line. Another turnover there, and a good job from the LHS defense. A few plays later, the Mountaineers would cash that in. Seth McKinney lofts this one just over the defender. 14-yard touchdown to Dominic McDonald makes it 42-12. Another turnover then here forced by the Liberty defense. Deflected pass winds up in the hands of Vincent Folio, and it's 42-12 through 3. Notre Dame would get the ball back early in the fourth as Hampton Heyman recovers a fumble to stall out a Liberty drive at the 28-yard line. But Liberty would go on to win this one and win easily as they take this one by 30. The Mountaineers improved to 1-1, winning by the final of 42-12. A playoff rematch from a year ago in Lost Creek. South Harrison playing host to the Lumberjacks of Valley Wetzel. Second play of the game, South Harrison's Freddie Canary gets the pitch, cuts it up past the linebackers, gets through the safety, and Canary takes this one to the house. 45 yards, and South Harrison's on the board first. They lead 7-0. The ensuing kickoff would be fumbled, and the Hawks would make a push here as Cam Barnett gets the handoff and avoids, well, let's just say a lot of would-be tacklers. He is finally brought down at the 3-yard line of the Lumberjacks. 2 plays later, Canary gets the call, and he stretches the ball over the goal line to get into the end zone, and that doubles the South Harrison lead. It's 14-0. Later in the quarter, Barnett gets the handoff, gets around the end, going to throw a stiff arm to avoid 1 tackle, and he's going to lower the boom, knocking over 2 defenders, keeping the legs moving for a couple more, and a gain of 35 yards. Then Canary is going to get the call, and he dives into the end zone to cap off the drive. PAT would be no good, but South Harrison now leads 20-0. To start off the second quarter, Canary gets the handoff, starts outside, then cuts it back up the middle, and he's into the end zone once again. That's a 15-yard touchdown to make it 27-0 at South Harrison. Valley would get on the board in the second as they throw a fade into the corner of the end zone that makes it 27-6 after a failed 2-point conversion, but South Harrison would answer as Canary gets the handoff on the sweep, bounces it outside, then cuts it back to the middle of the field, turns on the afterburners. He takes it to the house from 45 yards, making it 34-6 at that point. That would be our halftime score, and South Harrison tacks on one more to win by the final of 41-6, moving to 2-0 on the young season. We will be joined live by South Harrison head coach Brad Jett coming up in the first segment of Fifth Quarter Extra on WVFX Fox 10 at 11:35, so be sure to stay tuned. We take you to Mill Creek, a battle of Class A squads between Tucker County and Tigers Valley. Tucker County starts out on the right foot as number 31 Brett Reel breaks a few tackles, and he gets a 15-yard gain on the play. Tucker County coming off just a 7-point defensive effort. That's all they allowed to Pocahontas a week ago. On Tucker's next series, our quarterback Luke Poling throws a screen pass, and Reel rambles 34 yards and into the end zone. After the 2-point conversion was good, Tucker County is out to an early 8-0 lead. The Bulldogs would try to come back as Jake Tackett throws deep, but his pass is going to be intercepted by Tucker County's Ben Calloway, and that's going to stop the drive in its tracks. It's still an 8-0 Tucker County lead. Nice grab there by Calloway on defense. Tucker would give the ball right back as Poling tries to get some extra yards, but he is stripped, and the Bulldogs would recover the loose ball, so the Tigers Valley defense stands tall. The Bulldogs would cash it in pretty quickly as Tristan Dumeier races 37 yards into the end zone, and that would cut the Mountain Lion lead to 8-6. Dumeier had 165 yards on the night. 8-6 would be our halftime score, but the Mountain Lions go on to win by the final of 32-18 as the Mountain Lions improve to 1-1. Elsewhere in Class A, we bring you to West Union tonight. The Bulldogs of Doddridge County taking on the Silver Knights from Tyler Consolidated. The visitors with the ball here. Tyler Anderson gets the handoff, breaks through the line, breaks a tackle before stepping out of bounds 20 yards later, and the Knights are on the 10-yard line of the Bulldogs. Griffin Phillips then rolls out to his right, and he throws back across to find Anderson in the end zone. 7-0, the Silver Knights are on the board first. The Knights knocking on the door again. This time it's Jace Reed getting the handoff. He goes wide, gets the edge, takes it all the way into the end zone. The Knights convert the 2-point conversion, and they would lead 15-0. Tyler looking to score again, but Doddridge would stop them on 3rd down, and then on 4th down, they would force a fumble to get the drive stalled, so the Doddridge defense stands tall and would keep it a 15-0 game. But as Doddridge gets the ball back, they're looking to pass, but the ball is tipped, and Anderson makes the catch and takes it all the way back the other way into the end zone. That makes it a 21-0 Tyler lead. Looking to tack on 2 points, and indeed they would. Phillips rolls out again, finds Kyle Mason in the end zone for 2 more. 23-0 Tyler at that point, and they go on to win by the final of 42-12. Now we head to Blacksville. The CBs of Clay Battelle looking to move to 2-0 on the young season, playing host to Bellsville out of Ohio. First possession for the Blue Devils ends in 3-and-out on a punt, and then the CB's Gunnar Brummage is going to take it the distance. He gets yanked down from behind, but has enough speed to find his way into the end zone. Brummage goes 55 yards. The CBs are on the board first as they lead 7-0. Now it's the CB's ball once more. Tanner Burnett's going to field a low snap, no problem, and the quarterback scrambles outside the pocket, hits Travis Dilley, takes it 43 yards for the touchdown reception, and that doubles the Clay Battelle lead to 14-0. It is now 21-0 CBs, and the offensive assault wouldn't stop there. CBs continue to pour it on. Burnett, again, makes a play outside of the pocket, and this time he's going to hit Timothy Hall in the corner of the end zone. Another touchdown for Clay Battelle, and their lead is now 28-0. But finally, in the second quarter, after converting on 4th down, Belleville's quarterback Dakota Phillips is going to get outside the back and find Cody Milosevic, and that gets the Blue Devils on the board. But not long after that, the CBs would strike back. Michael Stewart Jr. would get the handoff. He finds the edge, and Stewart Jr. is gone. Another score for Clay Battelle. That makes it 51-6 before the half was even over. And no trouble for Clay Battelle as they put 65 on the board, knocking off the Blue Devils by the final of 65-12. Coming up after the break, Ben Eschenball will take my place. He has highlights from Fairmont, Shinston, and Flatwoods. Fifth quarter built by Trinity Homes returns after this brief timeout.
It is time now for your Play of the Week, brought to you by Trinity Homes. And for a second week in a row, it belongs to Fairmont senior Jake Abbott going up top to Caleb Walker. And he comes down with it. That's an 82-yard pass and catch and run and touchdown. Polar Bears go on to win against North Marion, the final 37-15. Welcome back to the fifth quarter, built by Trinity Homes. We dedicate this block solely to the Big Ten Conference. Stops at Shinston and Clarksburg, including the recently reclassified Elkins Tigers, are in the road ahead. But we start with a check-in at Fairmont. Lou Geary and East Fairmont tied up at 3-all with Grafton at the half. Both teams looking to remain unbeaten early in the season. Grafton moving the ball on their opening possession of the second half. Cole Collins airs it to the sideline, and Caleb Bish one-hands it despite the illegal touching. That's a gain of 22 inside B's territory. Same drive, Grafton at the 18. Collins zings it to an uncovered Zach Schumacher. That's the first touchdown of the night. PAT no good, so it's 9-3 Bearcats. Later in the third, after a Grafton short punt, Dylan Kinsel moves the sticks with a 9-yard gain to the 21. However, Eastside would miss a 34-yard field goal, keeping the score at 9-3. The Bees have it again here in the fourth. Dylan Burks airing it deep, but Collins comes down with it for a pick at the Bearcat 21. That's going the other way. After a change of possessions, Grafton has it again late in the game. Collins rolling on 3rd and long. He heaves it up. Austin Markariv comes down with it for a gain of 40 down to the east side 31. Same drive, Bish rumbling up the middle for a gain of 9 and a new set of downs to the 22. Grafton gets it to the 4, and Bish does the rest. His touchdown with just a minute and a half to go ices things up as Grafton improves to 2-0 on the young season. They win 16-3. East Fairmont falls to 1-1. To Shinston, Lincoln and Philip Barber looking for their first win of the year. It's all Lincoln early on. Kobe Carpenter fakes out everyone, including myself, on the read option. He keeps it himself and finds the edge for a pickup of 46 yards all the way down to the PB 8-yard line. However, that drive would stall. Brendan Hawkins comes on and he'll boot a 24-yard field goal. The Cougars take the early 3-0 lead. The Colts' next drive goes nowhere. Curtis Humphreys passes it and it's picked off by Dustin Marks. He returns it 20 yards down to the PB 37, so Lincoln again has it in PB territory. That's one of 3 first-quarter turnovers forced by the Cougars' defense. Ensuing possession, Hunter Moore takes the handoff across the goal line from 10 yards out. Lincoln goes up 10-zip. LHS would then recover a fumble. Lincoln has it at the 14. Carpenter pump fakes and then takes off with it on his own. PAT no good, so it's 16-0 Cougars. Another Lincoln interception has the Cougs back in Colts territory, but the handoff comes loose. Matthew McCoy falls on it for Philip Barber, but the drive, however, would stall. It's again Lincoln's ball in the second quarter. Carpenter again keeping it on the read option, and number 2 is going to take it all the way. A 52-yard touchdown run, his second of the night. It's 23-zip at that point, and Lincoln picks up their first win on the year. They go on to take the final 38-12. PB falls to 0-2. More Big Ten action in Clarksburg. RCB hosting Elkins. First quarter, RCB with the ball. Norman Junkins will drop back to pass. He fires one long down the field to Bryce Roseborough. It's an 80-yard touchdown passing catch and score. It's 7-0 Eagles. 3 Eagles on the Eagles' next possession. They're forced to punt. Junkins gets it blocked by the Tigers' Zachary Shreve. The ball bounces and he picks it up and takes it 11 yards in for the score. So we're knotted up at 7 aside. Third quarter action here after a fumble recovery at the 4. Elkins' Jarrett Zopp takes the hike, dives inside the tackle for the score, and it's 14-7. Tigers take their first lead. Now late in the third, Eagles driving, 3rd and 10 from the 35. Junkins calls his own number. He gets outside, down to the 5-yard line. That's a pickup of 30 on the run. A few plays later, 3rd and goal. Junkins rolls back to pass. He sees no one, so he's going to tuck it and roll with it himself. It's 14-all after the score. We go to overtime after Elkins misses a field goal. RCB's turn, 2nd and 7. Junkins starts to roll back. He's flushed out of the pocket, and he breaks for the end zone and dives it in. That's the game-winning touchdown in overtime as Elkins gets their RCB gets their first win on the year. The final 20-14 in overtime. When we come back, Shelby Cassesi takes over with a game that you've all been waiting for. Bridgeport at Wheeling Park heads our next block. She'll also have stops at Southweston, Flatwoods, and Glenville. That's next on the 5th quarter, built by Trinity Homes.
Your hit of the week actually comes on offense this week from South Harrison's Camden Barnett, who takes a handoff, throws a stiff arm, and lowers the shoulder, bulldozing over 2 defenders. And South Harrison cruised over Valley, and Mr. Barnett is awarded our hit of the week. Welcome back to the fifth quarter, built by Trinity Homes. We'll head on south to I-79 for 3 more of tonight's games, but we'll start with one of the more anticipated regular season games for the Bridgeport Indians. Wheeling Park is a AAA team that has given the Indians trouble in the past, dealing them their only loss in 2014, and last year's contest resulted in a tie after the game was called due to weather. Both teams already have wins under their belts to start the year and would walk off the field in Wheeling tonight with their first loss of the season. So let's head on out there to Wheeling. On the Indians' second possession, they strike early. JT Harris is off to the left side. He goes 30 yards into Patriot territory, setting up a later score. That would lead to this 1-yard touchdown by Harris, and just like that, it's 7-0 Indians early on. On to the second quarter, Indians on the move again. Quarterback Gordon Swagger on the keeper. He goes down the sideline all the way 40 yards for the score, and just like that, Bridgeport leads 14-0. Then on the first play of Park's next possession, quarterback Cross Wilkinson finds Rennie Clark behind the defense, and he is gone. 80 yards for the touchdown, and that cuts Bridgeport's lead to 14-7. But on the ensuing kickoff, here comes Jake Bowen. He's hard, running all the way to the Park 29, and that leads to another touchdown from our friend JT Harris. He takes it in from 1 yard out, and the Indians go up by 2 touchdowns. They lead 21-7 after that. Then late in the half, Patriots trying to get going, but Wilkinson's pass is intercepted by Brent Sinsel, and the Indians lead 21-7 at halftime. Second half kickoff, Kobe Kiefer with the kick. The Patriots can't handle it, and Chapin Murphy is there for the recovery for Bridgeport. They get the ball back right at the end of halftime. Now will lead to this 34-yard field goal by Kiefer that puts the Indians up 24-7. The Patriots do get on the board in the fourth quarter. Wilkinson finds Nathan Phillips for a 43-yard touchdown pass, but it wouldn't be enough. Bridgeport goes to the island and knocks off Park 24-13. Mr. Nicewarner after tonight's victory.
We grew up a lot tonight. Things were going well for us in the first half. Defense came out, played an exceptional job in the second half when the offense couldn't move the football. So total team win. Very proud of these guys. It's just another step that we had to take tonight. We did a good job of doing that.
In Lewis County, Dustin Koger and the Minutemen seeking their first win of the year over Preston. It's 14-7 at the half, and the two teams exchange possessions often in the third. Preston in punt formation when they decide to fake it, but Jack Vera comes up with the interception at their own 45. The drive stalls, though, keeping it at 14-7. Preston taking the ball right back, though. Lewis County QB Thomas Hogan throws one up, but the Knights' David Reckert comes down with the interception. He's finally dragged down at the 23, but that drive stalls as well. To the fourth, the Minutemen looking for some insurance, and they get it. Hogan rolls left and heaves it downfield. Nathaniel Frazier makes the catch and takes it the rest of the way for a 39-yard score. Minutemen go up 21-7. On Preston's next possession, Christian Miller makes the catch, but a hit from Caleb Gannon knocks the ball loose. Andrew Potter recovers for Lewis. The Minutemen are at the Knights' 13-yard line, and 2 plays later, they strike again. Luke Dublin punches it in from 5 yards out to make it 28-7, and that's the final. Double-A Lewis County defeats Triple-A Preston. They advance to 1-1 on the year. In Braxton County, the Clay County Panthers giving Coach Bill Haddix a signed jersey as a token of thanks for the Eagles' help with flood relief for their football team. First possession for the Eagles, quarterback Heath Cottrell looks downfield but decides to take it himself. He dodges 3 tackles all the way down to the 2-yard line. That's a 59-yard run for the junior signal caller. Then on the very next play, Cottrell shovels the ball off to Lucas Bonnet, who dives in for the 2-yard score. The PAT is no good, and the Eagles go up 6-0. Panthers then at the goal line, ready to score on 4th down, but the Braxton defense comes up with the goal line stand, and they take over at their own 1-yard line. But that just causes problems for Braxton. Cottrell hits Seth Arnold, who gains about 10 yards on the play, but a Braxton hold in the end zone results in a safety, and that gives the Panthers 2 points. They trail 6-2. With time winding down in the second quarter, Braxton looking for a score when Cottrell finds Blake Withrow, who shakes off the defender and takes it to cap a 73-yard drive. It's 14-2 at the half, and the Eagles defense holds steady. Braxton advances to 2-0 in the season, winning 28-2. Gilmore County hosting Richwood after a change of venues. Gilmore County on offense, the pass from Trey Schuff gets picked off by the Richwood defender, Caleb Clendenin. He takes the rock right up the side, far into Titan territory. Then Zachary Cable trots further into Gilmore County's end of the field taking the handoff past the defense, but he would end up just short of the goal line, keeping the score 0-0. First play of the second quarter results in the first score of the contest. Quarterback Shane Leaps kicks the ball and drives up the middle for a touchdown. That makes it 6-0 Richwood. But the Lumberjacks go for two, and they would be successful. Will Bragg hits the same hole in the center of the line to pay dirt, and Richwood takes an 8-0 lead. But it's Gilmore County's turn to gain some yardage. It's a QB keeper with Trey Schuff showing some moves. He quicks bounce to the outside again to gain the first down. And then another quarterback keeper for Schuff, who uses a misdirection, and then the Jets to scramble into the end zone for a Titan touchdown. The two-point conversion on this would fail. Richwood would lead 8-6, but Gilmore is victorious. They win 28-14. We'll be right back after the break.
Put a wrap on the show with the Benny's Boot Hill Boot of the Week. Dalton Malcolm from North Marion. We give the punters some love. This a 41-yard punt, which trickles out of bounds at the 3-yard line for North Marion. Dalton Malcolm, the winner of this week's Benny's Boot Hill Boot of the Week. Fifth quarter extra on WVFX Fox 10 coming up in just a few minutes. We are joined live in studio by South Harrison head coach Brad Jett.